Hello, welcome to How to Love Successfully. This is a podcast for female leaders who are looking for that loving connection and making their love life as much of a success as their careers have been. Here we talk about dating successfully and creating a loving relationship. I am your host, Dr. Kovanen. I'm a registered psychologist and a conscious dating coach. For the past 15 years, I have been working with individuals and couples and help them with their relationships. I share from my personal experiences of dating. I share my observations from working with clients about what makes relationships successful and how to find the right person for you. I would love to invite you to follow this podcast to get notified of the new episodes and join my email list. You will find the link in the show notes to get dating tips and notifications of any new materials. But now let's go into this episode. How do you feel about yourself? Today we'll be talking about healthy self-esteem and relationships. You are a busy female leader. You are dating, you are looking for love, you are looking for that relationship that really fills your heart with joy. The relationship where you can relax and you can be yourself, where you can share your life, both your joys and your sorrows, with your life partner. So today we'll be talking about healthy self-esteem and building a healthy relationship. Healthy self-esteem is in the heart of a healthy relationship. And what does healthy self-esteem mean? It means that you see yourself as equal to the other person. You see yourself on the same level as equal. When we are in the one down position, and this model of healthy self-esteem has been brought forward by Terry Real. If you are in a one down position when we're thinking about the self-esteem, that means that you see yourself as less than. Perhaps that shows in finding it difficult to set boundaries because you always feel that you are less than. Or perhaps you've ended up in relationships where you haven't felt good enough and you've chosen partners who have not appreciated all parts of you in the past. And when you are then in that one-up position, that is when you are feeling like you are better than the other person. In your behavior, this may show as when you are dating, for example, perhaps seeing yourself as better than someone. If we think about this, when you are in a one down or one up positions, these both stem from low self-esteem, not really seeing yourself as worthy. When you go in a one up position, I am better than other people or better than him. This is often a protective mechanism because you feel vulnerable and you don't want to show your vulnerability. You worry about being hurt. And if you are in a one down position, I am less than others. Again, it stems from that lack of self-esteem and really truly appreciating yourself, the wonderful person that you are. When you are in a healthy self-esteem position, when you see yourself as equal, you are able to empathize with the other person and feel compassion for yourself and compassion for the other person. You are valuing yourself, but you're also valuing the other person. How can we then build a healthy self-esteem so that we can build healthy relationships? When you're dating, how you can be in a position where knockbacks in dating do not affect you so much because you are in the good enough state. You feel good enough within yourself, regardless of what happens in your dating situations. And then when you enter a relationship, when you are in a healthy self-esteem, it is easy for you to communicate to the other person, and you communicate with respect and love to the other person about your own needs and what you want in the relationship, and you negotiate with the other person and build this relationship together. Have you got a dating dilemma? Are you wondering what is stopping you from finding love? If you haven't heard yet, I have free 30-minute dating clinic consultations available every month. And during these meetings, I will ask you specific questions to help you to figure out what is stopping you from finding love. You will leave with clarity and a plan how to move forward in finding love for you. You can find the details in the show notes, and I would love to see you there. Let's go now back to the episode. How can we build this healthy self-esteem for dating and also for building then long-term relationship? It all starts with self-connection. It starts with understanding who you are, understanding your journey, understanding what kind of things have impacted you, so that you can, with compassion, see how you have come to be who you are today. And you understand different parts to you and parts of you, because we all have these different parts to ourselves. We have the parts that we are perhaps not so comfortable with, and we have the parts that we like to celebrate and perhaps we've been even praised for. It all starts from self-connection. And self-connection, for example, can take the form of meditating and being more present, learning to regulate your nervous system, and really truly appreciating all of these different emotional states that you have, understanding them, appreciating them, and connecting to your own story. And in the self-connection can then also take in form of journaling. When you are journaling, you are writing down your thoughts, your emotions, even your bodily sensations. It would be helpful for you to write down, because often we are very disconnected from our body, our thoughts, our emotions, everything's disconnected. So when you write it down, then you can slow things down and start to understand yourself. And when you're writing down your thoughts, you start to notice any perhaps patterns in your thoughts. Maybe there's any negative kind of self-deprecating thoughts, maybe self-critical thoughts that you can start to assess and see if they have any validity or not. And you can start to separate yourself from your thoughts. And you start to notice all of these emotional states also in this way, not just when you are meditating. You are tuning inwards and learning about yourself. Another key element of healthy self-esteem is self-compassion. And self-compassion has 3 key components. It is about treating yourself with the same loving kindness as you would treat your best friend. You would only wish best things for them, and you would treat them with kindness. You would never treat them with harsh words or tell them off or tell them that they are somehow faulty. You would treat them with kindness. And the same thing is about treating self with this loving compassion. The second part of self-compassion is about seeing suffering as part of human condition. You're not alone with your suffering. If you're feeling lonely at the moment because you would like that person in your life, part of self-compassion is seeing that suffering is part of your human condition and you are not alone with it. It may feel lonely because perhaps you don't know other people who are in the same position. And the third part of self-compassion is about tuning inwards and tuning into your emotions, really appreciating your emotions and learning to understand what your emotions are telling you, what they're telling you about your life, your wants, your needs. In healthy self-esteem, once you start to truly appreciate all parts of you and treat yourself with loving kindness, you also learn to communicate to the other person about your needs. And this tuning inward is so important, because then you are learning about yourself. And when you learn about yourself, you learn to appreciate who you are. And when you approach relationships from that perspective, when you treat yourself with this loving kindness, you can see that the other person too, they are like you. If we remove all the external things, we are all the same. We all seek comfort and kindness. We all are deserving loving kindness, and we all seek those loving connections. Some people unfortunately behave sometimes when they're pushing people away, and it is their suffering that is making them do that. But when you are approaching relationships with connecting yourself first, with meditation and mindfulness, you can almost create this protective barrier around you. And you can even do visualizations on that, which help you to remain truly connected to yourself. And then no matter what happens in your interactions with other people, you can always turn to yourself for support. And you are being protected by potential negativity in your environment, because you treat yourself with this kindness and love, and you see yourself as worthy of having good enough relationships. Then you expect certain standards. When you see that someone is not respecting your boundaries, you are able to see and say, okay, I don't need this in my life. I can move on. And there will be someone out there who treats me with the same respect that I treat other people. Building a healthy self-esteem is a daily practice of tuning inwards and seeing how your internal world is, taking care of you, nurturing you, and really looking after your own needs. And when you are doing that, then you will attract the love back from your environment. What would be the first thing that you could start doing and add into your daily practice? How could you start really building this healthy self-esteem, where you are seeing yourself equal, as good enough, and all parts of you are welcomed, even the parts of you that sometimes may feel uncomfortable. And you can see how your journey has contributed to you. What could you start today to do to keep reminding yourself of your worth and value as a human being? You are worthy and valuable just because you were born. You don't need to earn your... What could you do today to remind yourself of that? If you haven't got a meditation practice yet, that could be a good place to start. If you're not journaling yet, that is another great place to start. It is really about tuning into your internal world, your thoughts, your sensation, and making a note of that, whether it's a mental note in a meditation and mindfulness practice, or is it actually then physically writing down. And when you keep practicing that on a daily basis, your life will change. I found that practicing self-compassion changed my life in so many ways. And I keep practicing it on a daily basis, because when I tune inwards, it shows outwards, and it also improves my relationships. When I neglect myself, I also find that my relationships struggle. So building a healthy self-esteem on a daily basis is so important for your well-being and for your relationships. And you truly deserve it. You deserve to be loved by you and embody love. If you learn something new, please leave a review on your favorite podcast. That way other women like you can hear about this and learn, and also build a beautiful relationship with you. And please remember, Give yourself the love you want first, and then you will attract the right person and the right relationship.